Okay, seems like I'm live. And okay, today we are in again for another Corona chess sport team battle. I'm not too sure about the dynamics of the tournament. I needed to chess chess heroes is dissing me over here. Um, Chess heroes saying if you want a decent stream, go over to them, and of course you're welcome to go over to Twitch and watch their stream as well. The link is just Chess Heroes on Twitch. But of course, my stream is the best there is because it's on YouTube. And feel free, I'm actually checking the comments section already. If you are going to be playing this tournament, go type in your name. I'm going to try and get to a few games. I saw last time it was a bit of an issue. But I'm definitely going to be watching Daniel Caudry today. It seems like he is online. Let's just reply here. And say that you can type your name in my comment section if you want to be featured. And okay, let's take a look at the tournament players today. A lot of players don't join with a lot of time still left. They join on the last second. And okay, we do have Clarence, who is online. Daniel Caudry, it seems like he will be playing. Whether Matt Pon will be playing is not too sure yet. He didn't play last week. And we have this player, Freddy F5, who managed to win the tournament last week again. And actually, you can guess from the name that he is a Dutch player. He plays the Dutch. And, okay. The Dutch is probably my favorite opening against one d4. I have a bit of a Chess Heroes is challenging me here. It seems to like a stream off. So let's see if we can get more people in my stream than in Chess Heroes stream. I think it's Justin Wilkin in the Chess Heroes stream. Maybe I'll have to challenge him on my live stream one day to just make sure that people YouTube comment section is obviously okay, so we have a bit of a competition here between Chess Heroes and myself. And okay, let's take a look at the players. I asked on the Western Cape group who this Paradox 1982 is. Have gotten no response, but we obviously the birth year is there, and I've been trying to figure out since seeing the name who Paradox 1982 is. If anyone can help me out in the comments section, that would be neat. And okay, we have a 20. Now the players are joining, and we do have Matt Pon in the house. So today he's going to be disruptive, and I think if Clarence isn't playing, it's probably going to be a Nachi taking this tournament. And Clarence, actually, his rating has fallen this last while from a 2500 to a 2400. So I don't know, maybe it's because of all these simultaneous events he's been having that it's fallen a bit. And okay, who I think last time Western Cape won, but it was actually not Nelson Mandela Bay who was the competitor for Western Cape. In fact, it was Gauteng North and Joburg Metro. But Steady Bang might get decent points with Clarence playing. He joined late last time, and I was criticizing it a bit. Especially that last game, he had a chance to actually still come first. But there wasn't enough time, and your opponent doesn't need to resign. Doesn't need to give you the game. He can just simply wait for your clock to run out and make sure your points aren't going to be awarded to your team. So, okay. 5 minutes to go. Still no join from Caudry. Michael Simpson's playing. This is a young player. He's beaten me so many times. I'm not too proud. His style is very, very neat. And he plays solid chess. A bit boring, but he keeps to the structure. Remember to hit your name into the comments section if you want to get featured. probably the first hour I can start looking at the games before the tournament becomes too tough. So okay, Wilfredberg, a Southie, was one of the players I think we featured last time. I'm looking at some of the names that I can remember. A Southie played decently, not in the first page, and let's go through the pages. Jashim, I'll be a bit skeptical of this player, where the country he's from. I don't have too many good experiences with this player. Louis Havenga, rookie, this is the other player we were looking at. I think his father was in the comment section, spurring us on to go look at his games. And Min MJ, this is a university chess player, I think from UCT or something. And okay, so decent competition here today. Who is representing Sedi Bang so far? Bibo 24. And I wonder who that is. Shall I am. Okay. Another South African player. South African Hyena. 4 minutes to go. Players still joining the arena. Western Cape with so far the strongest team. And a player to maybe watch out for is Kenny 1984. Kenny Willenberg. Very strong player. And it just makes me wonder about this Paradox 1982 player. So it's someone from that generation. And who knows how to even pronounce this name? I don't even dare to do that. Caudry's waiting for the last second to join. He's been online for a while. Kefi's 04, a new player joining here for. And Sedi Bang has got, I think, a family of young players. If I'm not mistaken, 2 Indian brothers, very strong players. That's probably who Kefi's is. I doubt it's Andre now. He doesn't strike me as a blitz player. And then also from Sedi Bang we have, I don't see Almaru, my friend, joining them. He doesn't seem to be playing for his union. From Heidelberg. And okay. The real serious players are up here. Fireproof and Kefi's 04. Western Cape, definitely with a solid team today. I'm a bit scared of Freddy F5. This guy was playing super solid chess. And I don't know who this Justin Chess 2020 is. Playing for Nelson Mandela Bay. There's another player from Sedi Bang, also Justin. It's confusing me a bit because I thought this was his username. And Buffalo City, one player going to represent them today. Anyone still feeling like representing Buffalo City, now is your chance to do so. And Azeza Tuku. Maybe you manage to score more points than one of the other teams do combined. Hey, I do respond to the comments section. In any case, I do have a pop-up comment section here if you guys want to ask for me to stream your game maybe. I can definitely do that. I am always keeping an eye on the live chat section. Okay. Do have a pop-out chat up here. Oh, here we have. Sorry, excuse me. I've missed the comment section. Justin Wilkin is NMBCU's coach. Okay, Jonathan Livingston. As far as I know, Justin Wilkin is also streaming. Someone's saying stream has 30-second delay. Okay. Rookie 1243 wants to be featured again. And if Clarence doesn't join from the start, we'll definitely start with Rookie's game. Leon and Epic Wing 506. Okay. And 7 seconds to go. Is Clarence going to be joining? And I think if he doesn't, we'll start with Matt Pond's game first. Okay, we'll start with Matt Pond's game. It doesn't seem like Clarence is joining the tournament yet. So let's jump into a Matt Pond game. He goes e4 and e6. So this is a response to the French by going d3. But only later on, it seems. And this is typical of Matt Pond. If you go through a few of his games, he actually plays with a closed center and then launches a kingside attack. He's going to remaneuver this knight via f1 and then go place it on h2. And I am correct. This is actually pretty satisfying. Okay, maybe black knows of this. Paradox 1982. The player that I don't know who he is. Just making sure this knight doesn't enter the position with rook e3. Interesting move. But remaneuvers the rook again. Maybe this pawn on c3 is going to help him way more. And we must remember that this is 5 plus 3. And so it's a whole different dynamic actually to blitz, and it's not even rapid. So it's this weird combination of blitz and rapid, where berserking would probably just cost you a game. So Matt Pond playing it safe for now. Playing with a closed center, trying to get a long-term pawn structure, this could be a potential pawn break in the future he's looking for. Black being sneaky here, trying to trade off the bishop. But now Matt Pond, one day he might be looking to come into the f6 square. How to defend this pawn? Maybe just queen d2. You can look at trading down bishops. A bishop here, this isn't really a strong bishop, but potentially you can use this f6 square for a knight or something. How does he get the knight there? Oh, probably h4, knight h2, knight g4, and then knight g6. And then it looks pretty good for white. This is what I would predict is Matt Pond's long-term plan here. Okay, but that's not even necessary. Black just blunders a piece. So black resigns. And that was a nice thought for Matt Pond. We'll keep to another one of his games. Let's just see if there are any tournament disruptions yet. Nothing. Doesn't seem like Clarence is in the game. Let's keep on Matt Pond's TV for now. And Clarence still not in the game. Okay, Matt Pond still waiting to get paired. A bit of an easy win, maybe. Okay. He's not getting paired. Maybe he's just paused for now. And he's playing for Joburg Metro. Nigel S2 is in the game. If Clarence isn't in the game yet, we'll quickly jump over to Rookie. Rookie 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4, 3. I don't know why they make the name so complicated. And let's dive over to his game. And he's playing against this Min MJ player who is, I think from UCT. I said so earlier on. He's a player from UCT or CUT. And I'm thinking about this move now. Just to pin the knight against the king. And potentially maybe even this. This might be a better move. Okay, definitely knight e5. You've got this fork coming. This is another outpost. You by no means want to trade off this pair of knights. Black's knight has got way better outposts. He plays for this move. And, okay, the fork isn't there exactly. You first need to get rid of this knight. So how can you do that? Maybe start by remaneuvering this knight. Or you could just rook lift, threaten to sacrifice the exchange. But the problem with sacking an exchange while this rook is defending is that white can do exactly the same. So what are we going to get? Okay, maybe even queen b6 is a good idea. You can go for the fork again. And this is pretty devastating. But okay, queen b6 seems like an idea. Also, what ideas do you have regarding knight c4? Is there a way to push forwards? Okay, the knight falls back. Maybe looking to challenge this knight somehow. I'm not buying it yet. Okay, via this square, but this is covered twice. Okay, so looking for some long-term way to play against this knight. Maybe we can start with g5 and then go knight e6. Oh, people are saying, okay, it's maybe Kenny's alternative account, the Paradox player. But Kenny's a bit stronger at Blitz. That was a 2200 Blitz account. He goes for his idea immediately. I'm not seeing the use of going for this yet. Maybe first the pin would have helped. And he needs to recapture the pawn now. Or does he? I mean, f7 is still covered by the knight. Okay, just defend the piece maybe. Need to defend the knight. There are loads of squares you can defend it with the queen from. One of these three. Okay, queen b6 doesn't work. You can choose one of these three. Oh, but the fork is way better, obviously. Not a true fork, there's a check. You need to run your king. But e6 is hanging now. White can start by taking e6. After the trade, black can try and capture the rook, but white just captures the rook. And okay. We'll see if he goes for this continuation. You can throw in... okay, that was mate, unfortunately. So you could have given the rook for the knight and then gone for this. Just trade and go king h7. The knight will still be hanging. Black is definitely standing better. There's not much to do about this pawn going up. White doesn't really have real threats against the king. And rook e1, 2, 4, 3 doing a good job here. Long-term advantage, this pawn. And I don't think you should trade down knights. There's no way of pushing the pawn yet. Maybe just go for a queenside pawn. White isn't doing anything on the king side. Go for the queenside pawn, I'd say. Even if knight takes, it feels like you're going to be very active on the 7th very soon. If he wants to defend the pawn, he can also just do that immediately. I think if knight takes and pawn takes, maybe the rook comes in and defends against this pawn. So maybe he should just take a second here. This is actually an interesting position. If you take the knight, simply pawn take should be sufficient. You can't push the pawn through. The king will be in time. So he goes for the queenside pawn and then plays with tempo, but now there's a knight blockade. You can challenge the knight from c4. That might be the idea. And black is definitely better in this rook pawn endgame if the knights do come off. I'm considering a line where, okay, this is interesting. So to take the rook or not? Probably take the rook. So you are kind of helping white then. Okay, but taking the rook and then going, maybe this is a move now. Check with the idea of pushing the pawn. If king is, you can always pin the knight again. Let's see how Rookie handles this. He seems to be getting himself in a bit of time issue here. I think that was the issue last time. He managed to flag though. A decent player. Rookie 1, 2, 4, 3. And white has made a bit of progress, I'd say. The king is more active. But still, I'd probably prefer playing this as black. There's no way white's getting off this pawn immediately. He finds this nice resource. If check, king here, rook here, check, king here. And then the pieces are, well, then this pawn falls. So white is definitely... Black's getting this trade though. Long term I'm thinking these two pawns are going to be very weak. Even though black is down a pawn now, I still got a lot of hope for him. No concrete ideas. Maybe it's time to... Yeah, okay. So he's forcing white to be the first to trade. This is a good idea. This check also picks up this pawn, and potentially this pawn is hanging. Knight check here, king here. Okay, white sees this and just defends the pawn. So just centralize the king maybe. And now you need to be tricky with your knight. Okay, white's knight can't move. One of the two pawns will fall unless there's an active post with material in mind, but I'm not seeing anything yet. And Epic Wing 506 also wants himself featured, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, you need to do something now with your knight. Okay, he's waiting for white to trade here, but one of the scarier options might be for white to go a5 now. Okay, white doesn't do that. Potentially, if white's knight gets to the square, then you're the one that's going to become inactive. And this is either just going to be a draw or black's going to find a way. Okay, king gets in, and now you can definitely pick up this pawn. You can throw in this check. For now, the king needs to go here. Or do you want to play your king here and just go off this pawn? White's knight is still very far away from the g5 pawn. And let's see, is Daniel in the game yet? Not yet. Or is he? No. He's going to join late again. I'm going to keep my eye on his games or on his profile. As soon as he starts, we'll jump in. He joined late last time with only an hour left. He managed to just crush the tournament. Nearly coming in first though. Very, very decent performance by him. And this is so typical of these games. I was watching Keith Kamala last night. The video is on my channel. And this feels so devastatingly slow, the game. Compared to those bullet matches. Now black should go after the pawn. Even if white repeats, I think trade down these pawns. Your knight might be faster to this side. Okay, maybe white then still has a draw. You can go back and defend. And black should be winning. There shouldn't be any trouble now. This check is a bit of a nuisance. Get your king maybe back to this side of the board. Create threats on both sides of the board. Okay, this would have been more active, and a more active way to play. Now white can play here and the king's not entering. If the king had gone there, he'd always have this square to get to this pawn at. Now he doesn't have it anymore. And one of the key things is that white's king isn't entering. So you can repeat this idea now. Hopefully he goes for this. Is there something I'm missing? Some fork? Nope. Your pawn's defended. So hopefully he does this. It looks like he found the idea. And I'd still run my king to this pawn now. You can defend your pawn. White's king can now enter. The main point is that this trade and winning this pawn is going to take so long that this pawn's going to have queened and might even just come sit comfortably in the corner. So now black's definitely winning. Definitely. 3 pawns. Min MJ is going down. Okay, so let's jump back to the tournament. Well done to Ricky, 1, 2, 4, 3. Let's see how the players are doing. Panageo, strong Western Cape player. He's just been berserking. And we have Roberto de Abrio in the house. I got a positive score against him. But that was because of an USA's match. And this actually I want to see. Let's go back to Matt Pon. Seems like he's lost the game in between now and just now. But he's won a pawn here. Oh no, wait, this is just an exchange like this. But he's playing against the previous winner of the tournament. Oh, he's black. Let's just switch our view. Sorry. Freddy F5 is the previous winner. And they've traded down into what seems to be a very quiet game. Just going for this endgame with similar pawn structures. White always has the possibility of this pawn break looming, but then again this pawn might be weakened. While black has got this nice chain. And he just needs to defend the base pawn really. But how do you move this chain forward? That's kind of the key question. That is where white has got potential. But first they resume play on maybe white trying to get to the 7th. This is a nice move, gaining some space. If it's challenged, you can just reinforce it. Challenged by one of the pawns. So Matt Pon switches direction, looks for some activity for his own rooks. And where would you want to pile up on with your rooks? Maybe this is an idea. Rook F5 and Rook D3. You need to somehow put pressure on this knight. It feels a bit weak. There aren't any pawns around. Rook F5 seems very decent. Okay, but first a better outpost for the knight. Does he want to keep the knight on e6 just to blunt the files that the rooks have doubled on? And white offers a draw, but Matt Pond feels comfortable here. He's not going to accept it. Still loads of time on the clock. And he's got some concrete ideas here. This is what I was looking at. White trying the similar idea, but just c5 kicking it away. And you've always got your rook f5 ideas now. Also rook coming here. Unless, I don't buy that the knight is doing anything on this side of the board. I don't buy it. And now it's starting to seem a bit weaker for white that he's pushed up these pawns a bit. Don't think white is too comfortable with what he's done. We have rook d2. Now trying to get into the second. This wasn't exactly the idea I had for Matt. White could just leave his rooks around here, but I think in the meantime, black might be looking for a tactic like this. If white just hangs out with the rooks, then simply when knight e6, you need to trade, because knight, if you just do something else, like let's say b3 in this situation, and c4, these were white's moves, and black had managed knight to e6 with knight f5 check, taking the rook loses the exchange, and this is a fork. So this might be a tactical idea in Matt Pond's mind. And I was saying just now that I'm not a big fan of this knight on b5, but I might stand corrected. It just doesn't feel like the right side of the board. It's definitely an outpost, but it feels like black was going to play on this side of the board. So after king f3, maybe Matt Pond felt like this tactic wasn't in the air anymore, that white's king is getting active, and it's unclear what Matt needs to do now. Okay, what's he going to do? Okay, so he's going to make this pawn extremely weak. This is a key idea. The king is a bit far away, and the rook now extremely awkward. But Freddy f5 finding a sound way of playing against this. Probably take with your... Okay, this is interesting. Now it feels like there's a bit of an imbalance. We've got... okay. It would have been a bit different, but now we've got a g pawn versus an h pawn. And who stands better? We need to look at a few things in these types of endgames. First thing is king activity, which white seems perfectly fine. And then rook activity, which he also does. But the other thing I'm actually looking at is the knights. I'm still a fan of black's knight. You can kind of see the threats it's creating on the side of the board. Well, white's knight actually only has one square it can go to without getting captured. So black definitely seeming more active, more comfortable on the clock as well. That's another thing to look at. So now the king is going to be more active than white's king. Now we're going to see knight f5 check, followed by this rook coming in. And maybe just some move like king d5 to blunt this knight even more. Okay, so where does the king go? Maybe it needs to go back. But then this king is just going to get even more active. Either one of these squares. Knight here is maybe something that Matt Pond is just... He's just trying to keep it out of the game. Some way, maybe knight g3 check. Some other type of progress to be made. You can get your knight to e4. You're playing forwards. Okay, this is interesting. Now, this is how he deals... Very cool. This is how he deals with knight c4 coming tactically. But is it... Okay, now you need to be careful of this check, which could trade down, but I think black is very fast with this g-pawn. He doesn't even want to go for this. White hasn't got the opportunity. Wait, he has. He can play knight f4. So I was thinking that rook e3 kicks away the king from defending the knight, but the knight covers the square. Just a quick thought. And now I'm not sure if black's advantage is that great anymore. This knight comes back into the game. Still Matt is going to be playing for the win here. This just feels a bit better for him. Is he trying to switch play over to the queen side altogether with something like b5? It could be. Okay, they agreed to a draw. b5 wouldn't be possible because the a pawn would be hanging. But maybe structurally it would have been an idea to go king b6. Or after the check you can take So if this knight takes, the pawn isn't really hanging. You can go king b6, the knight needs to move again, and then you can take on a4. Or if the check first, you can go king takes b5. So this push might have been an idea. I'm not seeing why exactly. Could be a way to get your king to the b3 square. And okay, but Matt's pairings aren't coming too quickly. I am on his TV, so it's like the tournament pairings are a bit slow. And I still haven't seen Clarence in a game yet. No games for Clarence. Okay, we have another Matt game against, and now he's ready to berserk, so he's feeling fresh for this. We have a Sicilian, classic Sicilian with d6, and Matt just going fianchetto. It's a pretty fast maneuver, d3, and we're going to see exactly the same type of structure set up by him. d3 feels like a very slow way for white to play, but Matt is very set on just aiming at the king side, not playing on the queen side. Knight f1, these are also typical. h4 might even be a move now. Okay, a5 to provoke a4, h3. Okay, now knight h2, and I'm very happy to say that I've become a bit familiar with Matt's style. This knight is actually tactically such a devastating piece always. Matt just sends this pawn to like h6 or something. Or even the g pawn, and now the e pawn, and the attack on the king side starts really quickly. You need to defend the pawn. There's no kicking the bishop away from the fence with g5 because there are two pieces defending the square. And okay, I'll read the chat again. Been there in a second. Lamb Simpson saying easy. Hello to everyone watching. You are watching the Corona Chess War team battle, and it's hosted by Gauteng North. Matt Pawn showing us how to attack on the king side after maneuvering this knight to f1, getting your pawn to h4. That's very thematic of Matt Pawn. It's a square for your queen on g4 now. You can place your knight from h3 to f3 as well. And actually queen h5 is a huge threat. I don't know why I didn't mention that first of all. Queen h5 and you need to capture, and then potentially the h file opens up. So g6 just cuts down the use of the square, but now opens up more squares for this knight to come in. And this is nice. I like white's position. How is he going to convert? It would have been very nice if there was another piece to sack on this square. There would have been this beautiful queen fork. But not yet. Maybe he's going to work with this tactic. He's definitely looking at it, deciding how to get at the position. Okay, so this is how the tactic works. Thank you, Matt, for being so instructive. If king takes knight, you've got the fork like this. So, similar way of using the tactic. And, well, what can black do? You don't want to trade the bishop because bishop takes, and now the bishop's also entering. H takes would also probably be an option, I guess, but then you need to maneuver your rook to the h file. It's very slow. This hits the queen immediately. You can start piling up on this f square. Maybe not yet because the bishop's eyes might open. First of all, just remaneuver the knight with tempo because the queen went to f8, and now this spin is an idea. And this is okay. Matt has berserked in this game, and perfectly fine on the clock again. And now this h pawn rolls. Finally, the pieces are out of the way for the h pawn, and he gets everything he wants. Just such a quiet kingside attack. The rest of the game is shut down. Very instructive, just opening with d3. I'm not sure about if the a5 move was necessary. Bach a4. Not always sure what that is doing because he's shifting his way to the side, but it could be the combination of these two pawns down on this side could start a devastating queenside attack. So a4 definitely maybe for that reason. And okay. Black's knight is going to come back into the position like this. I kind of missed this idea. Nice defensive resource. Playing forwards to go backwards again. Sometimes misses the eye. Okay, what is he up to? Okay, so now he's going to cash in this f6 square. Let's check though. In what combination are you going to use this position? If knight takes, you can't really, because just knight takes will fork now. So there must be something. Okay, so first h takes. Just queen g5 maybe, but the knight always comes to f5 and it feels a bit slow then for white. You need to do something kind of immediately. So the check, displace the king to this square, and then queen f4. I think queen f4 is his idea, yep. And now after knight f5, you can kick away the knight with simply g4 yourself. And I don't know, you can probably just trade this knight and then go e6, or black opens up the king side even more. I guess your queen just coming to h6, and that's mate, right? If knight goes here, you can play g4. Okay, he goes for the trade. This is the same mate, right? I guess it's mate. I was thinking if this pawn takes, the king might have a place to hide away on the square on e6. It can't be good, but it's a way of avoiding mate. So you're getting mated if you're going g takes, because then queen check, and wherever the king goes, just king g7. If you go e takes though, you've got the same check, but your king hides out on e6. Not the nicest square to be chilling with your king. Okay, he just sacks the... he goes knight takes first, which seems to be a way to not avoid the mates. Excuse me, this is king g7 and then just mate. Well done, the Nachi takes down Mineriva. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Let's see what's happening with the tournament. The real Frenchie running away. Roberto just berserking the hell out of his games. And okay, let's watch one of his games. It'll be good preparation for myself as well. I'm playing against him later. And what's the situation? Both sides have berserked each other. So they had 2 minutes 30 aside, which makes it a bit of a super blitz game. Roberto up 2 pawns on the king side, which seems very nice with an active bishop against the knight. And we're just going to be watching the end of this game. He's definitely going to win. King here would have lost the knight, but I'm thinking this knight might be a goner soon. Okay, so this would have been a mating idea if this knight was like a pawn, check, king there and mate with the rook on a8. But unfortunately the knight's not a pawn, and now the mate's there. Well done, spotting that tactical idea. Roberto showing us some flair. And that still keeps him in the lead. Panageo from Western Cape, let's watch one of your games. And Panageo also a berserker, it seems. But here it doesn't look too fresh for him. And we're just watching the end of the game. Let's watch a new one of his games. He's doing well. Falcon 6. Who is Falcon 6? And this is a good game. We have Panageo versus the real Frenchie, and we have a berserked game, which is just nice. Just bit quicker than a Super Blitz game, and they've gone for an exchange French variation. Roberto been playing the French very often, and now this captures actually I like from Roberto. It just weakens the pawn so much. Going after the pawn, the piece defending the pawn, and he's setting up a queenside castle. There's a tactic here though, is there? No tactics. Panageo just giving away a piece, the queen defends. I'm not liking this for Panageo anymore. He's maybe stopping queenside castles if rook goes to f8. Then you can capture this pawn. But still, okay. He goes for some more material. There might be something here I'm missing. But black should be fine, right? You can queenside castle. I'd probably just give up the exchange, play with the open. Okay, Roberto wants to hold on to all the pieces. Now you need to be careful though as black, I feel. You've kind of opened yourself up a bit. Queen g8 is a possibility. This knight can't always move if you manage to get a rook to e1. So you're setting yourself up for some dangerous ideas. You might want to go queenside castles as soon as possible. Maybe just do it now. Okay, now he's setting up an attack on h3, forking the knight. I'm not sure how much this knight is worth. You can take the rook, the knight for the bishop, recapture. And the real Frenchie's running away with the game now. I was definitely considering taking on b7 earlier as white. Even though it seems to make the rook active, it just feels like you're keeping black's king in the center. But black seems to be doing fine. He's going to go queen g4 now, probably. Yeah, just queen g4. Okay, but queen g4 would have set up this mate threat. And then queen f3 if you try and step out of it with g3. That's just devastating stuff here. And now queen g6. Queen g6. I don't know why the mate threat isn't being set up. This I'm not too sure of, hey. You need to go rook takes. This is his idea, because there's a mate threat over here. So after rook takes, bishop takes, white's actually, okay, he's down a full piece, the knight he lost earlier. But the variation was just a fancy way of trading down. It wasn't a way of concretely winning the game quickly. Okay, so this knight was always a weakness in black's camp. Now you can pin the knight like this. And the game might still be going on now. Black's going to regret going for this line if... But black's going to regret going for this line. I just said so. And white shows us why. Now, ooh, definitely liking white. f3, definitely necessary. Rook h1, king f2. And white stands better after all of this. Crazy, crazy stuff. The reason why white stands better is because of rook and the rook activity. Looking at these two pawns and now you're picking up one of them. And white's upper pawn. It is opposite side colors bishops. But these two pawns actually shelter the king really nice. And you can start making progress against this black king. While I'm not seeing too many ideas for black. So I'm thinking the game's going to go into flagging terrain. And now white needs to figure out something like rook g7 quickly. Rook g7 just to take away the g file, get your king to g3. This would be my idea, going rook g7. There you go. Panageo playing very nicely. And the real French is going to start feeling the heat. There's not much room for his king. Now I'll probably go king g3. Everything's being held together by this bishop. I'm not too sure what bishop to c3 is about. Just a fast pre-move. You can't go king g3 anymore. In fact, you can, but it walked to a draw after this trade. Rook g1 check. And is he going to sack the exchange? Oh no, this is a blunder. Oh no, it's not. Now he goes for the draw though. Okay, interesting way to go for the draw. Is Roberto going to blunder the draw? I don't know. He seems pretty fast. White declines the draw. White feels he can play on. I'm not buying it. This is just going to be a draw by repetition. I don't even think we need to watch the end. There's going to be no sneakiness. They're just going to repeat moves now. White can just... okay, white offers draw. Crazy game. Roberto messing that up a bit with that fancy line of his. I don't think it was completely messed up, but then sometimes you just need to go for the simple mate threats. Okay, that puts real Frenchie still in first because of the draw. 1 point for him. Panageo is still in second. Who else seems to be coming up? I just need to do my regular check on Caudry. Still not joining. He's waiting for it to be an hour left. He wants to be Mr. Hero, running in from the end. And actually, Matt Pon has been shut out, it seems. Anyone still wanting to be featured, you're welcome to do so. Just comment your name in the comments section. I do have the comments out here. I am watching them. And I think Epic Wing 506 asked us to feature his game. Yeah, we'll go feature his game. It seems like he just started, fortunately for us. Oh, I can't do it like that. I need to hover on the TV for a while. Okay, let's watch his game. And he's playing against JNW. And they've just started. Maybe I'll just quickly run through the game. Let's get an idea. We have e4. And, okay, they're playing something like a Juku Piano. Very quiet game. Black sacks on this square. Very aggressive. But the attack isn't really there. White manages to get the queens off well done. That's very important, the attacking piece. And trades even more. The trades did open up the H file, which could be dangerous counterplay for white, for black. But this is a nice square for the bishop. A nice outpost on this f4 square. Nice outpost for the knight on the g4 square. I'd lift my king to g2 and try and trade down rooks. This would be where I'd be playing. So I'm imagining a check now. First the check. Okay, this is also a move that comes with tempo. And in fact, this is actually pretty nice because now either way... Oh, he's just trading down like this. This is also fine. Okay. Play for the center to open up the file. Black's going to try and keep the position close, but it's now that you're happy that you have a knight. A knight that could find a very nice outpost somewhere. And okay, Epic Wing 506, we are looking at your game. I think you commented twice. And, okay. I'm still open to suggestions. The tournament, I have like 20 minutes before the tournament gets really serious, because I'm guessing Quadri is going to be joining us then. We have this d5 move. Trying some play, but you trade now because the king needs to recapture, and you can go after f7. But there might be this fork actually. Of the king takes, rook takes this fork here on the knight and the rook. Don't take this pawn. It's a trap. But you could probably do it, right? And then after the fork, just go rook c5 and trade down. Go with the 2 minors. Probably go with your d pawn, make it, or b pawn maybe. Okay, so this is a blunder. He missed all of this. Okay, he missed the other idea as well. I was just expecting this blunder. Unfortunately, maybe I had the commentator's curse and I forced him to play it. It's a blunder, but it's not the end of the world. He's still equal in material now. And black's king, although it is the endgame, it feels a bit too active actually. You can go put your rook on the c file maybe, and then go rook c5. Okay. What to do as white? King f. Maybe get your king here. I mean, it's as good as anything. Your rook's very active. Even just rook playing to the c file first seems fine. This pawn is also a bit loose. You can go after this pawn. If you're fine playing a king versus bishop endgame, I'll probably try and get the pawns off. I'll just be a bit afraid of this king coming to this square very quickly. It's such an active king. So you need to play with your opponent's strengths and his weaknesses. And it seems like his strength in this case, well, the strength could be a weakness if it's still like a middle game with kind of an end game with rooks. I'm confusing myself. Not precisely a clean endgame, which you would see like in a Dvoretsky endgame manual, but there's still like 2 pairs of rooks on the board and a bishop, so it's kind of like a middle game. It's not a table-based endgame yet. So his strength in a clean endgame would be his king, but it could just as well be a weakness now. You can kind of play with some tactics. I'm already seeing some tactics being set up. If you manage to get this rook to the g file, I could imagine something like getting your king to d3, rook to the g file, some kind of sack here. Both rooks take, and then rook taking check, and then another check, kicking the king away from the fence. More checks, kicking him back, maybe picking up the bishop as well. It's like not completely seeing it yet. This was my idea earlier on. Just get the king to f5. It's fine there. And no, king f5 seems fine. No real mating ideas yet. It seems crazy, but you can oppose this king. Play this rook to the c file. And now it's black that needs to defend. If white goes back, I think it's about equal the position. Black could even start rolling this f pawn. White wouldn't want that. So you need to be active. Well, okay. Black can't really roll the f pawn, I guess. But this seems very nice. Definitely playing this as white. This was my position. And now you can start trying to win this pawn. And what is JNW to do about the situation? From Joburg Metro. Epic Wing 506. What do you do? Play a rook to the c file, I guess, because there's no challenging the c file anymore. You need to have doubled your rooks. And now it feels like you're the one trying to checkmate black. Sorry. If you get the rook to the c file, you just need one light squared bishop kind of. Okay, so white's key idea here seems like he's playing for this f pawn, trying to rid the defender. In fact, I'd just be trying to bring in this rook that's sitting on a1. This would be such a nice square for the rook. Now I just play rook here. Still, whoa, my arrows. Okay, so rook c1 seems like a definite move. Then rook c5 actually. Yep. Okay, so like rook c5, and then you can start pushing d5. And now you're making progress. You can play rook c6, check. And then the king is pinned on that bishop. You can play your bishop to c5. This is how you're making progress. How about playing d5 immediately? You can do that. The bishop will be hanging. And you're playing with the same kind of threat. But not really. The king can take. Yo. Actually, they've reached an interesting position. White has definitely got the upper hand. Well done to the 1500. I'd still just go straight rook c5 now. Rook c5. Rook c5 with the idea of d5. Playing another check. And then killing this bishop to c5, I guess. Black maybe has one defense left after the bishop leaves to c5, and this is this check. And the king needs to run away, and then you can defend the bishop like this. But then, actually, no, wait, you can go into this line very deeply. White can take on a6, and then there will be the potential of playing the pawn to d6, and actually playing this rook to c7 against this king check as well, and then taking this bishop. Black is probably already just lost here, I think. Okay, let's consider another variation. King d7. Okay, now d5. Immediately. Wait. Yes, isn't this black king getting mated? This black king should be getting mated. You can't hang around like this. There's maybe this sacrifice. Bishop takes g5, and after e takes, rook g6 check. The bishop needs to defend, and you can play rook takes. Okay, so my play is going for my ideas. Okay. It's playing with these nice ideas in mind. And okay, bishop takes g5 also seems like an idea. Now, maybe it's even better, because after rook takes, you play with this check as well. Not seeing how you're picking up this piece anymore. This just doesn't look comfortable at all for black. It looks very, very crazy. Maybe f4. F4 is definitely the move here. f4. You can't go pawn takes because of bishop takes. And in fact, you're actually just threatening to take this g-pawn and bring this rook to g6 straight. Okay, so this isn't very scary. I'd say there must be some tactic. You can just leave that rook there. You can recapture with the bishop, pick up a piece. I'd probably just still go f4, right? Playing f4. He takes the rook. This is a concrete way of playing. You can pick up the bishop now. Okay. You could have picked up the bishop. Now they're going to go into an endgame with the time scramble. +3 for both sides. Could have started this whole variation with one extra check. Would have put you a bit faster off of the bat into the position. But white stands the better. You can take this pawn. It's a one king pawn endgame. You capture and run your king. Oh, shucks. What is happening here? You need... Okay, he's still on. He's going to play it like this. Okay, this is accurate. Now you can run this pawn through. It's in time to stop this pawn. For a moment I was doubting this. Just king up again. And black makes progress. You make progress. You get the queen first though. Wait, I was missing this. Queen check. They've got so much time on the clock again. This is madness. Okay, this is how you're picking up the queen. Queen d5, check. King f4. Queen here, check. And you can trade queens then, however. King can't go here. You got this check. Please play queen c5 check. It'll be game over. Oh. King g3 would have walked into queen g6 check and trading queens, and then the king is just so close to this pawn on f5. f6, you don't have any problems. Either way, white should still be winning. How are you getting the queens off of the board? I'm not too sure of anymore. And this game is becoming pretty long. They've got a long game here, actually. And, okay. Seem to have lost my comment section bubble. Oh, there you go. Okay. And now white's winning again. He managed to get off the queens. Well done to Epic Wing. Epic Wing. I don't know if this will be an epic win. Go b5. Come on, you can play this. And march this pawn to victory. Just take that pawn. And please show us you can mate with the queen and king. I'm sure you can. How to do it quickly? Just, yeah, using the queen is usually my method. Only the queen, not even using the king, just boxing in the king. It's a bit of a bullet method if you need to do it really, really quickly. Like queen there. And then you just run the king. And now wherever. Okay. So this is one for Epic Wing. Well done, Epic Wing 506. Glad you recommended us to watch that game. It was very exciting. And why Vade Ekurhuleni has taken over the standings here. And Einarch is still playing very hard, fighting over there. Lots of win berserks that he's gotten in to kind of come back. And still no sign of Clarence 1, 2, 3, 4. He seems to just be spectating. He's waiting for the right moment to strike. And actually, that was actually funny last week. Let's jump back to Einarch. He's really the strongest player here. And he's playing against this mysterious Paradox 1982 player, who I think someone was saying in the comments section that it's probably Kenny, one of Kenny's millions of accounts. So who knows? And okay, there's a bit of an imbalance here. Who stands better? Black's got the bishop and knight for a rook. White's got two rooks. So he's got two pawns actually, as well as the rook. So, and these two pawns are actually being felt. They're two strong passers. White's rooks are active. But I feel Matt Pawn could defend this. This isn't the end of the world. You need to go bishop c8 just to defend the pawn. Trying to play actively, you could probably have, but bishop takes doesn't work because at the end of the line there's rook g7 check, losing the bishop. So now these rooks become even more active. This is scary. White needs to be careful. You can't just hang this pawn unless you have a real mating idea or something. There's nothing yet. It's not even clear how you're getting onto the 7th. Maybe h6 is a big idea, but I'm not seeing it. No. Okay, so he goes back for this idea. This is how he defends the pawn. Your knight's pinned, but he's probably going to go knight e7. Wonder what was wrong with knight e7. Okay, but now this pawn is hanging again. That's the key point about the king move. And he misses the fact that, wait, he doesn't. He wants to play rook c7 check. Paradox being tricky. And they've got loads of time on the clock, so that wouldn't just be a pawn blunder. Trust me, Paradox won't be blundering a pawn just like that. We have bishop d7, just defending the knight. He needs to get his pieces out. White actually has a very, very comfortable position. I'm starting to reassess this position into definitely in White's favor. Not sure about that last check. Not too sure about that. Yep, he's just going to play knight takes f4. Are the two rooks entering now somehow? Rook g7 check. But then the king manages to escape. King d6, rook f6 check. You've got bishop e6, not hanging onto this bishop. And this pawn might be hanging in the end of that line. I think this is something White should be going for. Trying to get this pawn past. Okay, that's definitely what he's trying. So now, yeah, maybe he should have tried king e6. King e6 might have been an idea. Now, okay, he plays knight there. I was missing this. But now White is probably just comfortable enough running this pawn up the board. Okay, interesting. Guessing h6 now, or b6. Okay, h6, yep. h6, and this is very awkward. You want to play rook f7 with all your power, but you just can't yet because of knight takes, and there's nothing clever with pawn takes. Unfortunately, it looks like a nice winning continuation, but pawn takes and just simply rook g1. And Black's playing with the bishop against your rook as well. Okay, this is a really tricky position. Matt just runs his pawn up the board. He's kind of maybe flipped the equilibrium of the equation a bit. White can't really just go after this pawn because he'd be giving up the defense of the rook. White is actually now in trouble again. Mat pawn finding a resource out of thin air. Initially, I would have I preferred his position, but Paradox actually, it felt like he was making progress until Matt finds the most tactically accurate move. Knight e6. I would have maybe just played bishop e6 without thinking too much. Need to play your rook back, and now black is just simply winning. You've got this knight coming here as well. This pawn is falling, and in no time the b3 pawn will be hanging as well. Where does the king walk to? Maybe just centralize? Is there a problem with going here that I'm missing? It's not necessary, but it will help getting the knight here. Maybe there was something there on king e6 I was missing. For instance, if you play king e6, you can go knight e4 now, but he probably doesn't even want to play knight e4 check. Now you can play rook here. How is this possible? This check, the king goes here. Nope. Okay, pick up the b5 pawn. And now black's definitely winning. He's got more than enough material, more than enough time on the clock. And expecting, here comes the check, another rook falls. Nothing to do about this. White's going to throw in the towel. Can't even walk up to defend or recapture some material. And where does this leave us on the tournament standings? I'm thinking that's another 5 points for Matt, which it puts him pretty close to taking that first place again. But Panageo playing really well. I wonder if he's in a pairing, because if he's not, he'll be paired up against Matt now. We can go over to his game in a second. Actually, let's watch this. Let's watch it from a southeast perspective, because he played like a Dutch here. Odd way of going into a Dutch, but he gets this e5 move in first, and he's actually playing against Matt, who's just berserked him. But a Southie is from the Oeverberg. I still haven't gotten confirmation from you guys exactly who it is. And losing this g pawn in the Dutch isn't too bad. You can put your king on h8, get your rook to g8, and you've actually got this pretty nice center. And I think this might be the opening one needs to play against Matt pawn if you want a result. And a Southie's got time on the clock. Unfortunately, Matt pawn has only spent 8 seconds so far, walking over to the 13-second margin, 14 seconds. I need to do that maths quickly. One of the main things about what that lichess updated earlier was the fact that you cannot, when you berserk, you actually lose the increments as well. So berserking is truly mad. Here's Matt's idea. He wants to take this knight and take this pawn. Now he's just attacking another pawn, which you can't defend with g6 because the knight will be hanging. And he's overloading black now. You need to do this. And what to do now? You can go f4 maybe. f4. I'd be starting to think how to get my position more active. What you can try f4 with the idea of actually giving up the queen for the rook and the bishop. Okay, maybe not. I'm playing too romantically with these variations I'm looking at. And now he goes f4. He goes for the idea now. I wonder if there was a difference. Oh, the point is you need to recapture with the pawn first. Matt doesn't even want to do that. Yeah, and then the knight will be hanging. So that I was correct the first time I was looking at it. Just felt intuitively it felt right, but I was looking at it for the wrong reasons. You simply want to play f4 just to get that pawn to f4. Okay, knight f6 feels fine here. You need to get your pieces onto the side of the board. Rook a8 doesn't seem that nice anymore because the knight gets to d6. He wants this bishop here immediately. Maybe he wants to shove this pawn up here immediately. Not possible yet. Matt's keeping onto the spin. So this is why I was... Okay, now this move comes with tempo. Matt's allowing this. But what is his deep idea? He's going to play queen g6. And after the trade, just simply play the knight back again. Get the queens off. Maybe he feels the pressure of the position. And he plays very solid chess. You're not... Okay, this is... The queen's hanging. This is game over. Matt picking up a queen. We were talking about this earlier. The f3 move really wants to be seen, but the queen will be hanging. This piece, he's just going to capture here now. Okay, this is game over. Even if you do capture, there's just another trade, and the knight will be saved. The game isn't going to continue for much longer. The knight's going to just take the pawn now. Oh, there's another piece hanging. He wants more trades. It makes sense. You need to capture here, but now, oh, uncomfortable checks to deal with. Knight coming to d6 maybe. Just capture this pawn. If pawn takes, you open up the h file. Okay, Matpon playing very instructively. Watching this game from a Southeast perspective, he played the Dutch really well. Unfortunately for that one blunder. So I'm thinking I'm going to leave this game here. I trust Matt to convert this. This isn't rocket science for him. So I think we should be getting back to one of the other top 3 players now. And Panageo, let's definitely watch one of his games. He's still in berserk mode. Reaching the end of a game here. He's got against Freddy F5, and Freddy F5 is just an insane player. Good track record against Panageo, and he's lost actually this game. He's down a piece. He's going to lose. He's down on the clock. Let's quickly just see how he managed to lose a piece. Maybe it was because of the berserk mode, but Freddy playing a very closed position. Not playing his usual F5. Where's your F5, Freddy? Sucking a pawn for some momentum there. Okay, but you're getting this B2. He gets the B2 pawn, and where did Panageo lose his minor piece? I think round about here. Definitely round about here. Just feels like too much. Yep, too much happening here. Okay, that was this avoidable. You couldn't do anything about this. Okay, and so he went on to get into this position where we are at currently. And I'm not expecting Freddy to lose this, so I want to get back to more action. Panageo not in the start of a game. Let's see who we can catch in the start. Okay, now Enochi has taken the lead, but we have another player, Schwarztier, who's playing. I have not seen this name before, and the thing is, he's just starting a game. So let's see who this player is. He's playing against the next Magnus Carlsen. No idea who this guy is. Pretty solid rating there. I think for Joburg. And he berserks. Bishop d6. Nice. So interesting. Now the bishop's always going to be ready to play against h2. Just bishop g6. And okay, let's just see where this goes. This is potentially a big problem for black. You probably don't want to give up this bishop for the knight. Okay, let's see. He's okay with that. What's his idea? Just knight takes, and then white really needs to overexpose himself to gain space. But I like white. This bishop is menacing. Don't think g4 yet. This the next Magnus Carlsen playing a good game here. f5 definitely a nice move. I don't think the Schwarztier dealt with this too correctly. Although it is a bit uncomfortable. What is white really doing? Oh, you can't really bring out your knight. And maybe just f6. Okay, he goes for the g4 move. But this was kind of black's point, I think. He's going to play knight f6. With the idea of just recapturing with the g pawn, going king h8 and playing against g4 with the rook here. So maybe white isn't playing this right anymore. There was a move I was considering a move ago for white instead of all of this, but now it feels really nice for black. Okay, I'm too fascinated. What was my move here for white? Oh, it was f6. I would have just gone f6 here, but in any case. Okay, knight h5. This is a nice outpost, but g4 seeming potentially weak. Be careful. White wants to capture, but black seems in control actually. Knight not doing anything too scarily yet. Where are you putting this rook? There's a new square. Remember, when a piece moves, something moves, then it leaves some space open. So he's just going to double up and claim that this rook is just amazing over here. The queen has got a bit of a shameful role of defending f6, and I'm thinking black wants to kind of get rid of this role as soon as possible. Now white has allowed rook e2. I think he should have just traded. Oh, and there's a checkmate very quickly. Nice. Okay, so the rook coming to e2 was kind of game over. You can't even play rook f2 because this bishop is doing such a good job. And now finally the queen wasn't just babysitting, it was being very active and attacking this h2 square. So Schwarz-Stier. And maybe one of the reasons this player is doing so well, and wait, is because he's not getting paired against mat pawn. And mat pawn with 1 point more actually. Schwarz-Stier, having lost the first game, in berserk mode and keeping that threshold up, they're just winning ever since. So we're going to keep to another one of his games. He's not in a pairing yet, so let's just give it another second. Leaning over towards the comments. If you still want your game featured, I think now is a bit late. But if you want to watch one of the top players who I'm not watching, please let me know in the comment section so that I can move over or watch one of their games. I'm just watching the players that seem to have potential to take the first place. That's why I'm keeping my eye on Clarence and, well, maybe Schwarz-Stier. It seems very likely that first place is going to be taken from mat pawn by his own teammate. And Scholl M. So it seems like these bishop e6, bishop d6. Schwarz-Stier is alright with playing these maneuvers. But okay, actually, this is a known place for this bishop to be in this line. It's actually really okay for this bishop to be on e6. And oh, maybe knight. Okay, this is a fork. Okay, this is also game over yet again so quickly. Tactically sharp. Go for the queen. And it's actually, is it going to be a full queen? It's going to be a queen for a bishop or something. If knight takes, you take here. So maybe just grab an extra pawn, go for the knight. But in that case, it's a queen for, well, simply a free queen, right? Yeah, this is the best. Sorry. Just need to retreat the bishop. Queen for a bishop in this line. Going bishop takes f7 check didn't work. Excuse me, I was thinking maybe you can get a pawn out of all of it. But it actually just loses another piece. No reason. And, okay. White's definitely lost. Black is not going to mess this up. He's got 2 minutes left. I know he berserked, but this seems pretty fine. I think we should get back to the war. Very nice game there. Quick tactic in the hand. And this seems like a good pairing. Y Vade against a Narchi, and actually Y Vade has gone queenside, and it feels like we're going to see an impressive attack on this queenside with this bishop and queen coordinating somehow. So these are very fun games when the king is still in the center. Your opponent's king has castled to the other side of the board. And okay, anything can happen here. I think white is actually defending quite well still. There's nothing much to be done about defending here. And that's a good idea. Just get rid of this strong bishop as soon as possible. And it comes with tempo, so okay. But Matt plays positionally. This is just why he's next level. Giving up this light squared bishop actually just improves his play so much because he's going to have 2 knights. He doesn't have the bishop pair, but it seems like he's got a million outposts for these knights and weak pawns to play against. For instance, this a4 square, meaning that the king can't even come to b2 to defend the pawn. I'm playing such deep ideas so quickly. This also, for instance, I would have maybe just moved my rook to the b file, but he actually wants the a file to open up so he can play against this weak bishop. And he's forcing the a file to open up, or white needs to give up another pawn. So the a file opens up. White also looking for some home for his bishop. Black just not going to allow that, just bishop e7. And how are you doubling up your rooks on this file? This is my next question. Or are you simply going to play knight a4 and try and play for this tactic? Though white can still go bishop d2 to defend the pawn. Who knows? Okay, white maybe playing a good idea here, just trading down this bishop for a piece that can potentially be very strong. And then looking to open a file. Okay, sorry, this and this. Okay, what to do? Maybe the king walks to g7, and you've kind of manually castled. This square is so, it's black's. Okay, so this is one move quicker, actually, to get the rook into the game. This would have taken 2 moves. An extra tempo, but your king would have been on g7. A nicer square. But Matt feels that his king is safe here. And you can use this time you have, not moving your king all the way to g7, and just get both rooks to the a file. And there's nothing really to be done about this bishop. You need to play king g2 sometime, but then knight a4 is the huge problem. The king needs to move back or do something, and then knight takes here. There's just too many moves that you need to play to defend the position. White can actually throw in the towel here. There's nothing to be done. White's going to try and open this file, but this is what Matt's idea was. This one extra move, his king's going to be fine here. He can actually capture one of these pawns. And he's got a mate threat. You need to be careful now as white. What are you doing about this? Okay. Ideally, if this knight was here, this would have been checkmate. So, how to cover this square? He's not even going to try. He's just going to trade our material. And king needs to take. Otherwise, this would have been annoying. And now another trades. And this was super clever. Super clever, and now he actually wins. The pawn break never worked. Actually just loses a pawn. And white should be throwing in the towel roundabout now. Okay, just king d6. This pawn is too weak. There's no defending it. Another pawn drops. Okay, this is clever. Just you can leave this position really. It's going to win itself. Okay. Matt isn't even going to be annoyed by the existence of this pawn. He's just going to attack for a while and then take it. Okay, so white finally throws in the towel. Well done to Matt yet again. Dominating game, that one. Very instructive, going for the endgame at the right time. But I was correct. Schwarzenegger is really in the run for this first place. But we have another player in the house. Manalisi MJ. Can't pronounce that. And actually, is Caudry in a game? Nope. Still no games from Clarence. And now less than an hour to go. I'm starting to think he's not going to play. Okay, so let's see this Gauteng North player in action. Okay, let's watch the game. And okay, MinMJ, this is the same student we were talking about. And Manalisi is up so much material now. This is actually pretty scary. And it seems that, okay, let's just see that everything is fine. Okay. Everything's still running smoothly. I just got a notification here that confused me. Okay, so I think we're going to stick on Manalisi now because these two Gauteng, is it Gauteng North? No, Joburg Metro players. Both Schwarzenegger and Matpon, a Nachi, are dominating pretty heavily. And this is now a Gauteng North player. With some potential to rock up the standings a bit. And if we're rooting for the underdog, it will definitely be this Manalisi, who hasn't lost the game so far. I was looking at the track record, meaning that after this game, at least if the timing is correct, it will get paired against Matpon and the like. Which should be very exciting, I guess. Okay, but this game should also be over soon. Defended well. White doesn't have... Wait. Okay, I shouldn't commentate. How? This is so obvious. Okay, so our underdog just got shot down by another underdog. And lost in the first game we're actually watching, and this is actually very sad. Such a nice smothered mate they missed, and going berserk, going to be mad now, and going for this London system. Okay, very theoretical London system, and it's going to be a bit of a boring game, I guess. Ways to spice this position up, I guess. Looking at for both players. Okay, black is just going to close down this square, but white has now found a way to play f3 potentially. So black just avoids that and goes for this exchange while he can, but now white has got play on the h file. And what does white really want to do? Okay, his knight. This knight going to f3, or is he even going to go f4? He's got a bit of a mass here. He can't go do this immediately. He can just pick up the piece now. Okay, so he gets in a quick win there in the end. Luckily for him, this is definitely going to mean he's still got a solid chance at this tournament, taking the tournament home. And the game that last game he lost was his first loss. I was really not lying. There's that little 0 sticking out. And okay, let's go back. I'm waiting for, I don't know who I'm waiting for. Still Clarence. He's going to not pitch up for the tournament. I can kind of guarantee it now. It's too late to pull off that one. And let's watch Swash here. He's already kind of in the middle game, and Matpon's just jumping away with the game. And this is the big pairing actually. Manalisi, the play we were just looking at. Wow, e4, f5 ideas. This is great stuff. And this is the big matchup. Really, if this Manalisi player wants to stand a chance in the tournament, needs to take down that pawn. You need to go bishop takes c6, I guess. When black steps out of the pin, because this knight is so solid. So black, playing instructively, steps out of the pin like this, challenging this knight at all times. And now after trades here, your b pawn ends up on c6, but you've always got potential of playing a pawn break. Okay, mat pawn. Not really giving up this pawn, because the knight will be hanging and trying to play forwards, keeping his momentum. Also very instructional play. And I'm liking that position quite a lot now. If you've ever wondered how to play against one of these late f5 pawn sacrifices, I think this would actually be quite an instructive game. Usually when you have a problem in chess, you need to go look at what stronger players are doing against that exact problem. So this is quite nice, going off this weak pawn. And potentially this king is feeling a bit airy. Mat pawn says, no, you can go bishop h3, I'll just go queen f3. And okay, hit that bishop, whatever. You need to trade here. Mat's going to... Does he want to recapture with a queen? Does he want to keep queens on the board? Yep, he wants to keep queens on the board. Okay, it feels a bit like you can use your queen and coordinate quite well. Going for the endgame, and black actually seems quite fine. So to grow your advantage, you need the queen around to play with this open space. The black king's not getting castled immediately. You can play something like queen c2 maybe. Try and double up on the rooks. He finds a nicer way of getting activity in the position. Just simply make the rook active, go after this weak pawn. Black is still not getting castled. If the rook's challenged, just simply rook g3. Whoa. And if queen side castles, this queen jumps over to this side of the board pretty quickly. You've got the c file to work with. Is black threatening anything? I think the answer is no. This used to be like a checkmate tactic. If this bishop wasn't around, it would be checkmate, queen f2, check, king h1, and then queen f1. But the bishop does a good job of defending this mate. Any ways to challenge this bishop then? No, because I think you need to defend this side of the board first. So that's done. Okay, now maybe black can consider some tactic or something to get rid of this bishop. If you can do so, it's game over. There's a mate on 2 on board. Meanwhile, mat pawn is starting actually what I guess is a very slow attack, unless he wants to play knight b5 immediately. And this is maybe the way you're getting rid of this bishop. Okay, not really. Matt knows there's problems with moving the rook away from, let's say, rook h3, then just simply bishop g5. And you're overloaded then. So it just goes rook f3 and trades down on the f file. And goes back to defend the e6, e3 pawn. And this is kind of precisely the point I was making, that Matt Pond's attack is very slow for the time being. It's he needed to go h4. Black is liking black's position. Potentially these are weak. This is a weak pawn. Finding nice moves, black. I mean, the square was available because of the pin. But what to do now? Wishing there was another rook just to defend this piece for the time being. So he needs to play the piece back. What about rook f5? Was that a more active option, keeping options open of going to h5? Or does he want the rook all the way back to f7 for some other reason? Maybe as a defensive piece then. I don't know. These players got a lot of time on the clock. If the game is lost too early, they're going to probably blame it on the clock. They shouldn't be losing games because of time pressure. Feel if they have a middle game crisis, this is really, you've got enough time to sort it out. Even going down to those last seconds, just making sure you get to a pretty equal endgame. Because plus 3 seconds increment is so much for these guys. I mean, we can look at their bullet ratings. Now, man, at least he's probably not going to have a bullet rating or something. Oh, it's just not going to load. Okay, he does have a 20 to 50 bullet rating. Mr. Narchi hasn't played bullet, but I can guarantee you he... Unless Keith is the best bullet player in the country, which I really think he is, then Matt Pond will be a strong contender. Definitely. I haven't seen him play bullet, but this guy is instinctively just great. Okay. This file is being cut off, and I think white would have liked to place this rook on this file. And black's still being annoying on the king side, so you can't go knight e3. Be careful. Rook takes f2. It's in the air. So black's going to wait for this tactic, and maybe this is Matt's idea, to do something else with the knight then. But what else if you're not going to go knight e3? Bishop e3. Okay, so black doesn't stick around for that tactic. He goes all the way back, and Matt Pond changes his focus to the queen side where the king is at. I hate this king side, queen side talk. Always confuses me. He shifts his attention to the queen side. And now black has maybe got a reason for having the rook over here. Black doing a great job, but Matt found this nice outpost for his knight now. Goes for it immediately. Part of going to that square also defends this square. And, okay, you probably need to move your king now. Yep, because now if Matt goes here, you've got this sacrifice again. This is very thematic of this game so far. The sacrifice on f2. Matt just gets rid of it. He can take the pawn. What's Matt's idea? Knight there then. Seems this is a great pawn sacrifice. And I don't think moving the bishop back was too great. Yeah, now I'm liking white again. This is a bit of an up and down game. These players playing really well. Going back with the bishop. That's creative. I missed this idea. Matt's really struggling. He's not finding such a clear grip on the position. Black always playing with his f-file and using his time properly. I really get a sense that Manalisi, he's been berserking the correct opponents. Actually, if you realize what he just did, he played with some pressure on this pawn, moving his queen here. So you need to go queen h3. This is like the last square, unless you're going all the way back. This is actually quite funny. Okay. If the queen goes back to e7, I think e7 was a more active square. You'd always have potential of going queen here, keeping pressure on this square then. Now rook takes seems adequate. What is the main threat after rook takes? I guess the knight coming to d6 is always just annoying. And maybe you're just wasting a tempo playing against this pawn. So he's considering something else. Okay, this makes use of going to the queen going to d8. Doubles up on this file. But what are you using it for? You can't go king takes because of this fork. Still present. Matt's just piling up on the square. Knows that this tactic is in the air of king takes to defend the knight. So now you need to do something about your knight. What to do about you, buddy? What to do? I was thinking maybe one day black would have prepared some kind of sack. Okay, black goes in for this. In for this check. Did he miss it? Nope, he did not. He's prepared to play down the exchange. But this is definitely losing after knight takes queen here. I guess the queen needs to come back to defend. Oh, who knows? Who knows? This is still probably a far away from over. Manalisi probably thinking that, okay, well, the knight was going to come to d6 one day. Let's at least give it up in this variation. For this is very strong. Well, the rook. Let's give the rook up for this very strong knight. And now Mad has found some kind of tactic. What is the issue though? After king takes queen here, king here, queen here. Oh, the queen enters. This is some beautiful stuff here. And if you would have gone king here now, I'm thinking maybe he's just going to play knight there. Not even go for the piece. Oh, okay, he's going to take the piece. Is he going to take the piece? This is interesting. And now we might just see how good Matt is at finding some kind of resource in the position. Still got a feeling that, okay, he can repeat the position. This is annoying. Maybe he found something else in the position. And what was the issue now with going king back there? With the position repeated, there might have been something. And they've traded down into a completely equal endgame, where in fact, black might stand slightly better. Simply because of these weak doubled pawns, but also because of the weak d4 square. Black has got a target. And it's weird because black actually was prepared to give up the exchange. And then Enachi just gave it back up again. He doesn't like playing up material. He wants to beat you on equal material terms. He wants to be dominating in that sense. And this game is going to go on for a while. This is okay. Black making huge progress. He can take the d4 square now. Wait. What? Oh, you can't do that. I was completely mistaken about the position. White making huge progress. Because of that tactic. And yet again, positional tactics. You need to play positional ideas with tactics in mind. So pushing pawns at times where it seems like they can't really go to that square, but tactically that square is available for them. And now Matt Pawn's pushing through with his passed pawn. Just queen e5. Just get behind that pawn, or is there something else I'm missing? Checks, yep, and then queen f7 threatening this. And now you're helping the pawn through. But this check, there's nothing to do. Okay, well played by Matt Pawn. Well played. He's going to trade down queens like this, just pins the queen, and he wins the game. Seriously, well done. I missed that ending completely about my pay grade. And what does this mean to the tournament standings? It means Matt Pawn takes the lead. Swashtier went down again, but to who did he go down? To Freddy, no, to PT Gambit. I wonder if this is a player entering the top ranks now. Freddy F5, last week's winner on 26 points, struggling to find the podium places. And okay, I think we give the Western Cape player another chance. Panageo will wait. It seems like he's going to start a game very, very soon. And maybe a bit of a low rating for Panageo for the type of performance he's been delivering today. Playing on the pay grade of these top players. Okay, now I'm done waiting. Got bored waiting. I don't know what's happening with his pairings. And I just think the general pairings are slow. Although there are 250 players, I think it's just the formats of these team tournaments. Let's jump a bit to Swashtier then. Playing against Freddy F5 from Nelson Mandela Bay. As I said earlier, he's moved down to number 11. And last week's winner. Having a bit of a tough time. Playing in a position that's pretty closed, where he's down the exchange, where it doesn't feel too bad to be down the exchange, although he really probably wishes this bishop was a knight. Not too clear what you're doing with this bishop. Black might find better coordination for these rooks, especially because these rooks are kind of on semi-open files already. And now black finding excellent outpost way. You can always trade down this if he really wants to. He's not even going to take that bishop. He might. Okay. This piece is still a bit annoying, but you don't really need to do anything about this. Okay, so this is the idea. He wants to come add more pressure to this square. Whether it's via b7, I don't know. He's also attacking the bishop. A nice find in the position. You probably need to go, you can't even go rook e3 because of knight there. So now he's close to winning material, I feel. Yeah, queen b2 to go after this pawn. And pushing the pawn up the board drops the d4 pawn, so white just defends the pawn. And maybe, okay, while 36 seconds seems like not a lot, this is actually more than enough time for white to actually be navigating through this position. As I was saying, you really just want to find an equal endgame. That's really what you're hoping for. Freddy f5. And Schwarstier. Anybody know who Schwarstier is? You could just leave your, just take a guess maybe even. Let's try and guess who Schwarstier is. And no, still hard to get these rooks active. Are you going to? Okay, so this pawn was hanging. Okay, now it should be game over. This pawn is also close to falling. Still, this knight feels like a gem. If you can manage to get your queen in, but the position is closed. Okay, so this is how he wants to get his queen in with tempo. Freddy finding a nice resource over here. Okay, now black might regret his queen sitting all the way over here. Do you give up the exchange to simply retreat your queen? An important question. You can't even do that. Wait, you can. You can. Definitely an idea, and I think Schwarstier needs to go for this. Yeah, you'll still be up a pawn. Not okay. White still has this weak d pawn you can play for, but tactically there's not much to do. I think if you move the queen to, let's say, c2, as soon as this queen comes in, white has got a definite draw. Playing along this diagonal, the rook will also be hanging after this check. And okay. Okay, Schwarstier going into a think. Considering rook takes d3, is there any other way out of this? Counterattack maybe? You can't defend the pawn with the queen. That would be the solution. Okay, he goes to rook takes d3, the only option. And white now inserting a check first to make sure the queen is active. I'm not sure if this is such a nice idea. I guess it boils down to the same. The king might be slightly worse on f7. That's a claim you could make. Now be careful, don't go queen c7. Maybe go queen b7. Is the queen going to become too inactive again? Do the same thing that black's queen did. And okay. Interesting stuff. 32 minutes to go. Schwarstier definitely looking to win this game with the black pieces. Doing the same thing that white kind of did to him, making this queen inactive. And they running down to a bit of time trouble here. This pawn is not hanging because this pawn is hanging. So, definitely liking black a bit better. Black's up a pawn. These pawns are weak. And white is the one to offer a draw. So clearly black stands the better. Oh, and I'm only seeing now for the first time my tournament clock is not displaying too nicely. I'm just going to fix that. Sorry, there you go. Sorry about that. 31 minutes to go. And they did agree on a draw at the end over there. Okay, bit of a shame. Was really hoping Mr. Schwarstier would take that point, because now Enachi is running away with the tournament. And Manalisi still playing really well there. Joburg Metro, who's leading the tournament? Gauteng North, while Joburg Metro has actually got dominating players. Manalisi being team leader of Gauteng North, helping them up there. Making it very interesting. Being Western Cape with half an hour to go, really needs to fight for this win. Min MJ and Panageo are wondering where our Mr. Kenny is. Let's jump into one of his games. Kenny Willenberg up on the clock. He's beaten this player before. Seems like material equality, but while while white is actually losing a pawn, wait, isn't white just losing this pawn? Black can take here. I'm missing some tactic. This knight's also... Okay, so black down on the clock, but black's slightly better. Thinking Kenny playing a bit aggressive again. Okay, but let's give it a chance. He probably got some queen e7 ideas or something. Just need to figure out what to do with this knight first. 22 seconds to play against a very aggressive player. Mr. Pulverizer needs to figure things out. And you can't give away tempo moves always. I mean, queen e7 is coming. No, not yet. Pulverizer playing quickly. Obviously, this pawn was hanging. I'm not sure why I missed that. I'm playing weakly. Weak chess. Weak. Okay. And yet again, material equality. White and black kind of on the offensive. White's king slightly overexposed, but since he started playing on the 7th rank, feels like black can never make his rook active. So even knight c5 could be a resource. I don't know if you'd want that. Feels like black's knights aren't doing such a great job. So okay, he just consolidates on this side and says to his opponent, well, okay, you are the person that needs to play on your 3-second increment. I'm going to make basic moves. Probably just, you can't do this. Oops. This is the trap that black is setting up. You want to play here for the pin, but simply black is going to play this fork and chop your rook. So white just expands on the queen side, but does this check start hurting? You can always play king h3. This is his resource. Closing back ranks for black. I'm not seeing it. You need to move the knight and one of these pawns then. So he moves the knight, but now I'll move my knight to c5 kind of instantly. Because you've got this mate threat. Yep. This pawn's hanging. And after you take on e6, you can actually start threatening, well, not smothered mate yet. You need your queen on d6 for that. Black gives up the exchange and makes some room for his king. Now white can just try and get queens off. Yep. Sorry, by going queen f6. Black with 6 seconds left. White can pick up this pawn. Wait a minute. This pawn... No, you can pick up the pawn. Would have defended this pawn as well. But he trying to keep time pressure. And the time pressure finally pays off. Picks up a full piece, not just an exchange. You can go knight e2. Yep. Bring the rook into the game. The king's still got some safety here. Maybe you just don't want to blunder everything on the last second. So just get queens off. You're threatening this mate. Black needs to go for it. Black takes an extra pawn, but both these pawns are falling. And Kenny definitely getting in another win over here. Might be featured on the tournament's top 10 page soon, I'm guessing. Oh, he's on 17 and he's just gotten a win. And okay, I'm not going to watch further. This is a win for him. And lichess, don't go down. We've got a big tournament. Okay. And Anarchy just lost. This I always don't know when he's going to lose. Just watch crushing games of him. And he lost against Hellboy. Hellboy isn't even on the top page. Who is Hellboy? In any case, let's jump into a game. And yet no Quadri. Let's see one of Justin Citybang's games. Wait, okay, let's... I think I can do it like this, right? He's playing against Panageo, a player we've frequented during the tournament a few times. Panageo has berserked him and somehow managed to pick up a piece, but from my impression, Panageo is getting crushed. How did this happen? Okay, I'll give it like a second after the game's done just to quickly see this. He's picking up this rook if he really wants to. If he wants to be more devastating, probably like f4 even. Panageo holding on to some hope. Queens can be traded, and Justin knows this. The game is pretty solid from then. He's playing with these two pawns. Don't trade. Okay, you can go via this square. So okay, let's quickly see how he won this piece, because it seems like this was an aggressive game. And actually, this is another one of Daniel Cordery's proteges. And this is nice. He plays against a Scandinavian. I don't remember what this gambit's called. Super aggressive. And okay. I like the insertion of f4 here. Oh, okay. This is probably where stuff started to get sharp. Attacking this queen, taking this piece, and e5. Going for loads of space. Another spatial move. And now castles into everything. What is g6 really about? I'm not too sure. Probably also trying to get castled. And oh, it needs to defend h5. And then this, like a beautiful sacrifice. Very sound. And then getting the queens off. Running with the knight via b7. Bringing it back to the game. Not losing back material. Justin wins another piece. Panageo blunders this. And I think the game is still going on. This piece is defended, starts running a passed pawn, and this is the position they've reached. I'd be excited for Justin to win this game. We've watched him actually, I think it was against Jacob Nguni, where he was just winning a game like this. It was a very nice, well, kind of say theoretical when he used nice chess principles in combination with each other. This is mate. Panageo just resigns, but unfortunately Justin ended up losing the game because of a bit of time trouble. He did some weird things. Luckily he didn't get into any of that now, and we actually saw a very nice sacrifice. He's creeping up on this list. 36 points, overtaking Roberto de Albrio, who has berserked a lot, but it seems to be losing his fire, not playing too strong anymore, and has Einachi just gone into pause mode. He's in another game, and this position seems very, very sharp. Let's get into it. Lance h9. h9 is obviously the square that is on the square h9. It's the square where you go to after your queen makes a queen. And, okay, his king is still in the center. He's managed to pick up a pawn. And white is probably not too sure what he's doing with this rook anymore. And the queen, actually, let's not even start with the queen. Where's this queen ever going to? You need to move the bishop out of the way. And he's berserked, this guy. How to attack his black, though, as well. So he first gives the queen some breathing space. He needs the knight on a different square. This allows the queen f4. But what are you doing with your queen on f4 in any case? Exactly. But where's this knight going to as well? I think this would be the key square. Okay, this is where it can get traded off on its way there. So you need to find a clever way of playing this. Okay, maybe the long-term idea was just to pressure d4 since the rook can't recapture. But white is still defending this pawn with two pieces. Black's attacking it with two. So black needs to do something else with his attack. Maybe setting up some kind of tactic when this bishop moves. But this was actually a very nice moment to play knight a5. While this rook is on c3, just cutting off communication from this d2 bishop. Halboy, Pierre van der Walt from Pretoria Chess Club. This is the guy that took down Matt Pon. Well done to Pierre van der Walt. Unfortunately, I missed the game. We can quickly go look at it after the tournament. I'll quickly feature the game. Or what I can do is I can just try and watch one of Halboy's games. Lance h9. So many Lance players that played chess. Lance is such a chess name. Such a sports name. Okay. Matt Pon gets this knight to c4, as I was trying to do the whole time. But his opponent gets his king to g2, and he got super weird rooks on the third rank. Super weird queen as well. But maybe Matt Pon is helping him now. What is f6 about? f6 seems a bit dangerous. If you really want to play e4, e5, you are mad as hell. I think Matt Pon is mad as hell. He's gonna play e5. This is why he set up the position. He might prepare it with something like rook g8, But mark my words, he's playing e5. He's going to open up his king and just... Okay, so he's preparing it. This e5 move is coming. Something like e5 is coming. Or maybe not. Maybe it's just going to be a rook doubles and then rook coming to the square. And slow and steady progress. Maybe one day taking this pawn when the time's ripe. Or moving into the position via e4 even. Okay, maybe he's not sacking everything with e5. e5 not even possible maybe. Or maybe it is. It's such a difficult thing to calculate, especially when you've berserked. You need to kind of see what knight g4 does to you. Okay, so he's going for my idea. So it's just a slower idea. He's going to play rook g4, yep. And I'm thinking maybe even rook e4 before bringing this rook to the g file. So the queen need... Oh, wait. The queen's trapped. Oh, okay. The queen's trapped, man. Okay, say bye to your lady. She's not playing with us anymore. Okay, she's not trapped. Your knight's lost. Okay. But your queen was trapped. You needed to sack the knight to get this square. And now Matt's... Oh, no, this is just crushing. This is even worse than losing a queen. Matt's just going to sack a knight over there. To play queen check. And make this game over very quickly. Oh, he's just going to play rook g8. What? Wait. Did he maybe play too fancily now? No, he's still got so much material. This is still just crushing. He's up an entire rook and a pawn. So definitely playing this very comfortably. Now you want to get this knight back to the square. This pawn. Queen takes here. Why is white not doing that? In any case, this move is coming now too. Not much to do about it. And I think white can throw in the towel now. Rook takes h4, yep. Yeah, this is just a fancy way of trading down. And well done to Matt. This was a nice game. A nice little tactic there in the end. We're going to go out of the game. He's just walking away with this game. And that brings us to kind of moving towards the end of the tournament. We've got 18 minutes to go. Are we going to have any surprises? It's pretty much between Schwarzenegger and Einachi. But I must say, Panageo has been playing excellently. I must be just underestimating him because of his rating, but just been swiping through these players. And this, yet again, like such a tactical move. He's going to pick up the rook now. White not even realizing it. And sometimes this comes from the pressure of your opponent berserking you. I'm thinking White's just going to resign here. Unless he's trying to keep the player hostage in the game. Nope, doesn't even. And now, okay, Matt has been waiting for a pairing. So we're going to get a Matt Panageo pairing, unless Matt quickly got into a game. Okay, they're going to get paired. Definitely. So let's watch it from the underdog's perspective. Let's get into Panageo's. I'm expecting a Matt Panageo pairing now. They're number 1 and number 2. And still nothing yet. The tournament's pairings take long, I think, when it's team tournament. What's up, Masia? Glad to see you here. And that queen was definitely trapped. And I've been wrong about this pairing. It's not coming. It's frustrating. But they are playing. No, this is bad. And they've berserked each other. Oh no. I'm missing out on the action. Let's get into the game. Einachi. And okay, we're just going to watch it from here. This is a super fast blitz game. Panageo actually just playing comfortably, going after this e6 square. Active, but what to do now? Okay, he goes after it again. And Matt Pons is probably going to tuck his king on h8 soon. Or h6 or something. h6 is coming up. Just get... Ooh, this is a nice move. Nice in between. Oh, wait. No, it works. Panageo playing extremely sharp chess. Who is this guy? Your rating, it's so underrated. Finding these tactics so quickly. And almost having a time advantage on Einachi over there. Castle's kingside, okay. And black is playing with a solid center. Big center advantage. White can kind of hope for something with a bit of space here around the king. But yet these pawns are marching up. It feels like black is better. Yep. Proper play though, I think still equal, but definitely in this format, yep, this is the type of advantage Matt Pon's looking for this fork now, remaneuvering. And now his time advantage is becoming apparent. In the beginning with opening, it wasn't yet. Interesting way to deal with this threat. I would have thought that bishop f2 is also quite nice. Since the f2 square is available. And a new diagonal for your bishop to move on. And okay, then a threat like this wouldn't be available. Now check is going to come first. Now bishop f2. Tucks the king in the corner. Now there's this fork. Okay, now this is lost. It's an exchange down. Probably not lost, but I'll go rook takes and then try knight e5. Winning back material. Tricky business. Sorry, I said it's definitely lost, but this tactic also came naturally after everything. I guess I also missed this. And you need to be careful. There's this check as well now. Okay, this check would have been annoying. Keeping this rook on f7, it's not taking this rook on f8. It's better than taking the one on f7. And you're disrupting the king a bit, moving it to a light square where it's potentially weak. But now Matt Pon willingly moves his rook here to defend the pawn, so maybe taking the rook on f7 was making this pawn weak. And now Panageo is really getting the rhythm of this game. Oh, this guy really plays. Okay, getting off of the pin, getting off out of the check, and oh, hanging a piece. Oh, he was playing so well. That was so sad. Panageo really quite an upset over here, playing against the big guns in this tournament. And okay, Roberto's coming back a bit with fire. Who should we be looking out for? I don't think we've watched the game from Boomer Remover before. Someone born in 2003. Unless it's just an ironic name, playing against Sean 14. And what are our imbalances? Well, okay, Boomer Remover is up an exchange and a pawn. And, well, he's got these nice outside pass pawns. But it feels like black is going to start concentrating on them soon with knight to c4. A bit annoying. Yep, knight to c4. Okay, maybe it's not that bad. It could just be traded. Nothing else that could be tricky. Making the position more tricky. You need to hold on to material then. Okay, this is just the way to trade down. And now black's definitely going down. The captures here opens up the 7th rank for white. White should just trade and go for that 7th, I guess. Yet again, this player, Boomer Remover, coming out of nowhere, taking this 4th place. Seems like this game is kind of... Well, these tournaments, it could really be anyone just flying up there. Especially with these crazy time controls. I mean, 5+3, making a berserk seem reasonable, actually. 2.5 minutes is not bad for berserking a game. It's not a bullet berserk. So he's going for the idea, finally. Rook to the 7th. Double up rooks. And I think after this game, we should be looking at either Matt's games or... Okay. Black finding a way to get those bishops active. I don't know why King B1 was inserted first. Okay, this is also nice. Although you're losing a pawn. Now he's not losing a pawn. Or now he's losing a pawn. I am the counter of if he's losing pawns or not. Rook takes d5, now this pawn's hanging. But the endgame should still be 1 for white. No issues. Oh, this is an outpost. Ooh. Maybe some issues. This might still be tricky. And Sean 14, still making things a bit tricky here. You've got bishop d3 check, and then king c1. But white just kind of plays around the bishop now. You can go a3. And if white really wants to, you can start getting a pawn up the board and then sack the rook for the bishop and pawn. Make something with the passed pawn. But to do that, he still needs to get active. So he needs to do something like this and this, or just go to the 7th immediately. I don't know why I wasn't considering that. Rook f6 seems, well, like it's walking into mate. Wait, no, they're both missing mate threats. I'm missing mate threats as well. That was just mate in one when that rook moved up. So now white can go after this pawn, and black can't defend all these pawns. He just needs to move this rook to d7 before taking the pawn as well, because otherwise the rook will be hanging. But playing this endgame very slowly. What is his main idea? To trade off rooks. The king escapes. Is he going to try and play on the 8th now? But the king gets room. And this feels like they're going to play a while on this endgame. And white should win ultimately. But they're still going to spend a while to navigate this. Now I take the pawn. Yep, okay. Now white might be winning a bit more quickly. And there's a perpetual here. Wait, no, you can go king d1 after rook c2. And there's no perpetual. You can just go rook up now. Rook c7. And don't even know why you're allowing any of this. Just crush through, break through. He's going to walk his king up now maybe. But now bishop c2. Okay. This game has found a weird rhythm. It's very, very unpredictable. I'm not going to lie. I don't know what to expect. We're going to see like a rook check maybe, and then if I have to guess the unexpectable, then there's going to be like king a2. But okay, hopefully it's like king c4. Okay. So it's not too unexpected. We're going to get rook c7 now. Oh, be careful. The spin. So just move your king again. And it's going to take a while, this game. But my money is on Boomer Remover to finally get it. Using slow ways to kind of defend here. And actually, I need to get back to the other action. Boomer Remover is definitely winning this, but this is going to take a while. They've got so much increment on the clocks. So let's get back to the other games. Remember to suggest games in the comments section if you want to see one of these top games. And Western Cape Chess, 520 points. And this happened in the last 18 minutes. Panageo being one big exponent for their points. Running away with the points over there. Being the top player after Louis Havenga also coming up with a load of wins. Just looking at this win streak. And, okay. Panageo Einachi, another matchup. He's getting difficult pairings. And this time he hasn't berserked him, which is probably a good idea. He's playing with a 2000 rating this time. And he's down a pawn, but this is an excellent square for his knight. How to get there? You need to go via one of these squares. So I don't even think it's getting there. All of these squares are closed. There might be another good square like f3. But it feels like all these good squares, in order to get into them, you need to go onto one of the dark squares. And now they're trading down some material, which should suit Matt going into an endgame where he's playing with a bishop against a knight. But apparently it doesn't. Panageo disagrees with me. And he goes into the endgame knowing that the knight is going to find a nice outpost. I'm hoping he gets to e3. I don't think he considered that it's going to be immensely difficult. All his pawns are safe though. They're on light squares. And does he find a way? He wants to go via this square. Okay, now you need to go knight e7, I guess. Interesting endgame. This is going to be nice to watch. Matt Bond going to go very long on time. Also possible was a5. But maybe he wants to keep the square open for his knight. So this is really where you want to be. Now finally he gets to a4. Matt Bond's going to throw his bishop to c1. And okay. One of those tricky endgames where the knight is actually very happy. Not sure if he should allow any player on the king side. Now he should just not capture. This is good. This is starting to remind me of the game I lost against Mfundo at the USAs. Except I think I had the bishop. I had Matt Pond's job here. So black offers draw, and Matt Pond's going to take it. map. Yeah, not much to do here. I think black can just draw the game by running the king between these two squares. But showing his class, hey? Like, if he's drawing mat pawn, his rating is he's definitely underrated. Berserking these top players. And I want to watch one more game of his. This is just so exciting. Mat pawn also, is he going to get a pairing soon? Getting 2 points for that draw, that's very nice. After getting fire, 2 points for a draw is not bad. Panageo only getting 1, meaning he's definitely out of the run for this first place. Boomer Remover having won that game, finally, I guess. We left the game and he's in a new game. Against who now? Against Freddy F5. 4 minutes to go. This game might not finish. They're probably just going to make a draw. I think we should be getting to a game where they have decided to berserk each other. This will be the... Okay, and... Okay, let's give mat pawn this last game. Doesn't look like his opponent berserked him, so it's going to be a bit frustrating if he doesn't get the win in at the end. But I think this is a good final game. This will be a good game to watch. Mat pawn trying to get in the win to count for the tournament. But he's kind of already won the tournament, so I think he can be happy. Isn't this a bit of a mistake, I guess? I guess White could have taken here. I mean, this rook is also hanging with check. Louis Havenga feeling the pressure, allowing his opponent to get away with something. Sometimes stronger players just rely on their reputation to play lines that should really not be played. And that's sometimes also necessary. You should sometimes just be confident even though you're playing badly. It's very paradoxical. And I really don't think this game is going to count for the tournament. 3 minutes to go. I'm going to leave the game for a second because I think this is going to be a neck-on-neck ending. 5:45, 5:38, and I actually just want to watch. I just want to watch these the team scores for the last few minutes. I'm going to remove my little logo so that we can watch one game while just going on the things. Okay, so we can still see Einachi playing Louis Havenga in the corner of the screen, but more importantly, we can see these last few minutes of Western Cape chess versus Gauteng North. And in the meanwhile, actually, in the Einachi game, well, they're probably not going to finish the game, but stuff has happened. That queen has managed to end up on all over there on the queen side with the king, but there's just not another piece by or close by enough to start playing against that king. And I think white might actually be better. In any case, 5:43, Gauteng North coming in with a win. It's hard to say who got the win. I'm going to go down and see Gauteng North with a few players here in the top. 37 with Fire, Bramos, Sunnyside Bull, Manalisi, Western Cape with only Panageo and, well, Louis Havenga with loads of fire there. And this is, whoa, Gauteng North, 5:49, just overtaking these last seconds. I hope Western Cape chess knows they should be offering draws now. And that is very tricky because if you do the maths incorrectly, if you're playing against a Gauteng North player, they're on fire, they might get 2 for a draw and you only 1. So boiling down to these last seconds, 5:47, 5:49. This might be the closest Corona chess world team battle we have ever seen. Minute 26 on the clock, and we can see there in the corner Einachi, who's going to be the tournament winner, trying to get in this last game, trying to still get in a win, but it doesn't seem like the game is really going his way. I prefer white in this position. But okay, this guy is a tactical monster, just going to open up the position. He's also okay with the endgame. A minute to go, Gauteng North getting in another win, or more points. I don't know if it's because of Manalisi. It seems like that score just popped from 47 upwards. Luckily, this part of the video will be captured and it can be watched in slow-mo to kind of see who got those last points in. Very close, but Gauteng North 5:59 and Western Cape going to 5:48. And it seems like it's going to be Gauteng North taking this one away from Western Cape. Manalisi being their strongest player, but Panageo being the real upset of this tournament. Someone can disclose his identity to me, that would be amazing. 23 seconds to go, 5:59 to 5:49. This last minute, Gauteng North, from being 2 down, take a 10-point lead. Are the players making their draws? Is Matt Pond going to make a draw and help Joburg Metro? Well, there's not really any contention anymore between the other places, it seems. It's really 2 seconds to go, 1 second to go, and Gauteng North take this tournament. Real crazy things happening there. Last second action, 12 points, but only 12 points that were recorded in the last minute. That was insane. I don't know how Gauteng North got 12 points within a minute. Maybe just pure luck, or maybe the Western Cape chess team have not figured out to request draws in the end over there. And we have a Nachi Matpon taking that first place. Panageo, a Western Cape chess player, playing excellently, way above his rating. Really interested to know what his real rating is. And Boomer Remover, a player we only saw a part of his game. Really didn't expect this player to come into the standings. And playing very slow chess there, actually. It seems kind of counterintuitive that he would be in third place, very close to Panageo. And then we have the rest of the places. Schwashti, we watched Manalisi playing for Gauteng North, Justin Sedibeng, one of Daniel Quadri's students. I'm not sure who the Sunnyside Bull is. Then Roberto de Abrio, and then another Western Cape player, Louis Havenga, and Bramos from Gauteng North. Well done to everyone that played. Well done to Gauteng North. Also well done to Western Cape Chess and Nelson Mandela Bay. Those top 3 places really dominating and actually very close to each other. Shutting out Joburg Metro, although Matt Pon helped them a lot. No sights of Daniel Quadri today. And, well, okay. Here's our previous week's winner. I think I saw his name here somewhere. Freddy F5. Just to show you how these games fluctuate. And well done to Rookie1243. We watched one of his games last week. And actually, I think there was remarkable improvement already. Thanks everybody for watching. This was an extremely fun event. Definitely doing this again. And remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. And for next time, leave your names in the description if you want a game that will be featured. This was very fun, and I'll see you guys soon for more South African chess. Thank you for watching.